Hi student, welcome to botany class. Today we are going to see the bacteria. Actually, the bacteria is come under the kingdom Monera according to the Whitaker classification. So what is a Monera? So Monera kingdom is contain all prokaryotic unicellular organism. The cell wall may or may not present. The cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, but in all other cell wall bearing organism like plants and fungi, in fungi the cell wall is made up of chitin, in plant the cell wall is made up of cellulose, the main substance. But in bacteria the cell wall is made up of the two different components. There is a polysaccharide, and in the polysaccharide is contained the N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetyl muramic acid. The mode of nutrition, it may be autotroph or heterotroph in bacteria. Reproduction, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction both are occur. Okay, so in this video we are going to study the bacteria general characters and the classification and milestone of bacteria. These are the things we are going to see now. So what is the bacteria? As I told you, the bacteria is come under the kingdom Monera. So what is the characteristic features of the kingdom Monera? All organisms those are included under the kingdom Monera is prokaryotic. So bacteria is a prokaryotic. Bacteria is a prokaryotic and unicellular. The entire cell is made up of a single cell. Ubiquitous. So what is a ubiquitous? That means it's a cosmopolitan. It present everywhere. Wherever we can see. So here the bacteria will be present in the atmosphere, in the earth, in our body, wherever, in the surface and also inside our body. It will be present everywhere. That is a ubiquitous. And it's a microscopic organism. You see the previous video, the viruses is a submicroscopic particle. We can see the viruses with the help of electron microscope. But the bacteria you can see with the help of a normal microscope. So it is a microscopic organism. Those are we can't see our naked eye. It generally consists of a microscopic organism. The study of microscopic organism, entire microscopic organism, is generally called microbiology. So microbiology means the study of all microscopic organism. Okay. The study of bacteria is called bacteriology. The study of virus is called virology. The study of bacteria is called bacteriology. The study of microorganisms is called microbiology. The bacteria were first discovered by a Dutch scientist, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, in 1676. Anton van Leeuwenhoek, by using a simple microscope. He called this, he doesn't know this is a bacteria, he generally called it a animalcules. Who was first to discover the bacteria? Anton van Leeuwenhoek. But he doesn't know this is a bacteria. It's a tiny particle. He generally called this is a animalcules. Okay. Next, the bacteria, friends and foe. It does some beneficial activity to the all living organisms, even the plants and the animal. And foe, it will do some harmful activity by causing the diseases like a virus. Okay, so that's why the bacteria is considered as friends and foes. So in our home, our mother, they will prepare the curd. How they prepare? By pouring the curd in the boiled milk. After some time, what is happened? The milk, it will be changed into, that is a liquid, it will change into solid form. It changes into curd. Why? Because the pouring a small curd, small amount of curd is contain some bacteria. This bacteria, it will be break down the milk protein, as it will convert it into the insoluble form, soluble form into insoluble form. Okay. So have you noticed the preparation of curd in our home? A little drop of curd, it turn the milk into curd after some time. What is responsible for these changes? It's especially for the bacteria. Which bacteria? Lactobacillus. Lactobacillus bacteria. Why it is a source? It look like what? A bitter taste. So what is the reason? So due to presence of the lactic acid in the curd, during the conversion of the milk into curd, the lactic acid is formed. That's why it will be bitter in taste. Okay, so changes is brought by Lactobacillus lactis. It's already present in milk or curd. Lactobacillus lactis. And then it's a bacterium is present in the curd, and the bitter taste, that is a sourness, due to the formation of the lactic acid. Okay, it's one of the beneficial activity. Without our knowledge, it will happen in our home. Actually, it is an activity of bacteria, that is especially for Lactobacillus lactis, where it is present in the curd. So we want to convert the milk into curd mean, so we want to add some little amount of curd into the milk. So the little amount of curd is contained Lactobacillus lactis. So during the conversion, the lactic acid form, due to the presence of lactic acid, it will be very bitter in taste. Okay. Next, another activity of the bacteria. One is a beneficial. Now we are going to see the harmful activity. The victim of the typhoid fever. It will be caused by Salmonella typhi. It is a bacterial disease. Salmonella typhi, it is a bacterial disease. So some of the disease for the human disease caused by bacteria. Typhoid fever, it will be caused by the bacteria for the human. It is a human disease. Which one? The typhoid. It was caused by Salmonella typhi. It is a bacteria. So it's causing the disease. So it's a harmful activity of the bacteria. So we can consider the prokaryotic organism as a friends and a foe. Friends means beneficial activity for the conversion of curd with the help of the Lactobacillus lactis. Harmful activity, Salmonella typhi, it causes a typhoid fever to the human. So that's why it's considered as a beneficial and a harmful. It's unlike the virus, because the viruses is only do the harmful activity to all living organisms. Not only for the plant and the animal, and even though in microorganism. The bacteriophage is attack the bacteria, no? And finally it will be kill the bacteria. So viruses is always do the harmful activity, but the bacteria, it will be do both the harmful and the beneficial activity. Okay, sir, the conversion of curd, okay, it is a beneficial activity for the human. What are the plant? Some of the symbiotic bacteria, Rhizobium. So some of the symbiotic bacteria like Rhizobium. It will be associated with the leguminous plant, and it helps to fix the atmospheric nitrogen to the plant. Okay, so it's one of the beneficial activity of the bacteria to the plants. Okay. So next we are going to see the milestone of bacteriology. The Ernst Busch, he is the first man to coin the term. Anton von Leeuwenhoek is the first man to discover the bacteria. But he doesn't know this is a bacteria. It's a tiny particle and he can generally call is an animalcule. But the term bacteria is given by Ernst Burns in 1829. And Christian Graham is the first man to made a differential stain. That is a Gram stain. Later it was called Gram stain. It will be helped to differentiate the Gram positive and the Gram negative bacteria. There are two types of bacteria will be there. Gram positive and a Gram negative. Thick cell wall and a thin cell wall. So it will easily differentiate by using this staining method. So this staining method or the staining process, it will be given by Christian Graham in 1884. And then David H. Berge in 1923 published the first edition of the Burgess Manual. So Burgess Manual, it will be included the entire description of all bacteria and classification of bacteria. Everything will be included in the Burgess Manual. So Burgess Manual, it will be only for the bacterial classification and bacterial description. So all the information of the bacteria, it will be described or printed in the Burgess Manual. So the first edition, it will be first given by David H. Burgess in 1923. And then Frederick Griffith, 1928, is the first man to discover the bacterial transformation. In the previous video, we have discussed about the lysogenic cycle of the bacteriophage. During the lysogenic cycle, what is happened? The viral genome is entered inside the bacterial cell when the virus is attacked the bacteria. So once it will be entered, it becomes a circular and incorporated with the bacterial genome. So instead of destroying the bacterial genome, the viral genome, it will be incorporated with the bacterial genome. This is called prophage. It's a natural recombination. So I already discussed in the previous video. Okay. So the bacterial transformation was first discovered by Frederick Griffith. And then the Joseph Liederbach, he has discovered the plasmid. He discovered the plasmid. So what is the plasmid, sir? So the bacteria is contained, some bacteria is contained the extracircular chromosomal DNA. It's not a bacterial genome. Listen, it's not a bacterial genome. It's a extra chromosomal DNA. Mostly it's a double standard, circular. The plasmid. It's a double standard, circular, extra chromosomal DNA. Not all the bacteria, some group of bacteria is contained. Mostly it's a junked gene, but some beneficial gene is present. I already told you, no, the Rhizobium bacteria, it will be associated, symbiotic association with the leguminous plant, also fix the atmospheric nitrogen. So for the fixing atmospheric nitrogen, is supposed to recover the NIF gene, nitrogen fixing gene, where it is present not in the bacterial genome, it present the plasmid of the bacteria, Rhizobium bacteria. The NIF gene will be essential for the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen. Okay, so the extra chromosomal organization is present in the bacteria. Is later it is called plasmid. It was discovered by Liederbach. Next, Robert Koch. He considers a modern bacteriology because he can discover a number of diseases related to the bacteria or caused by the bacteria. So it's a German physician. Physician means doctor. Okay, it's a German physician and microbiologist. He considers a founder of the modern bacteriology. Who is the founder of modern bacteriology? Robert Koch. Okay, who was first to discover the bacteria? Anton Leeuwenhoek. Who was coined the term bacteria? Ernst Burns. Okay, so he identified the causal organism for anthrax, chlorella, and tuberculosis. So the causative agent of this disease, it was first identified by Robert Koch. So that's why he considers the founder of modern bacteriology. And the experimental evidence for the concept of the infection was proved by him. That is called Koch postulation. What is that? The experimental evidence for the concept of the infection was proved. The concept of infection. This concept was given by Koch. So that's why it's called a Koch postulate or Koch theory. Okay. And he was awarded the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the disease causative agent for the medical and the physiology in the year 1905. Robert Koch is a physician and microbiologist. He considers a founder of modern modern bacteriology. Why? Because he identified the different causative agent of the anthrax, cholera and tuberculosis. Anthrax, cholera and tuberculosis, and he can give the infections theory. So later it is called Koch theory, and he awarded the Nobel Prize for the medicine and physiology in 1905. Next we are going to say general characteristic features of bacteria. General characters. So it's a prokaryotic organism. Pro mean primitive, karyotic mean nucleus. So this kind of organism, the genetic material is not enclosed by the nuclear membrane. So instead of that, the nuclear material is openly present in the cytoplasm of the cell. Okay. So it's a prokaryotic organism, and it's like the nuclear membrane and the membrane border organelles are absent, like Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum, okay, chloroplast, mitochondria, everything will be absent. Membrane border organelles are absent. Instead of that, very common for both prokaryote and eukaryote mean that is a presence of ribosome. The ribosome is a common characteristic feature. It will present both the eukaryotic and the prokaryotic. But the ribosome type will be varying. The eukaryotic contain 80S ribosome, the prokaryote contains 70S ribosome. But the ribosome is a common organelle, is present both prokaryote and eukaryotes. Okay. Next, the genetic material is called nucleoid or genophore or incipient nucleus. So incipient means the primitive, immature. Okay. So why? Because it will be openly present in the cytoplasm of the cell. It's not enclosed by the membrane. It will be openly present. So this is a genetic material, is openly present. Okay. So this genetic material is called nucleoid or genophore or incipient nucleus. Okay. So next, the general character, we are going to see the cell wall. The cell wall bearing organism, it will be grouped under three kingdoms. Kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera, all the organisms include is bear the cell wall. And Kingdom Fungi and Kingdom Plantae according to Whitaker classification. Okay. So the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, or it is also called murein. Peptidoglycan. So it contains the polysaccharide. The peptidoglycan is contain the polysaccharide and the protein. Peptidoglycan is made up of polysaccharide and protein. So the polysaccharide is made up of the two substances, that is N-acetyl glucosamine, NAG, N-acetyl glucosamine, and the N-acetyl muramic acid. So these two substances is present in the cell wall of the bacteria. But in fungi and the plant, the cell wall is made up of only one substance. But here it will be made up of two different polysaccharides, N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetyl muramic acid. Okay. So here the chain, the green color, it will indicate the N-acetyl muramic acid, green color, and the brown color it will indicate the N-acetyl glucosamine. N-acetyl muramic acid, green color, N-acetyl glucosamine is a brown color. Okay. So the two chain, it will be present in the cell wall of the bacteria. And the protein, that is it is made of amino acid. This amino acid, it will be tightly linked, these two different chains. Okay, so the gram positive bacteria and gram negative, the cell wall of the gram positive and gram negative. Already I told you the gram staining. It is one of the procedure, it will be helped to differentiate gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Okay, so this is given by Christian Gram. Christian Gram, the scientist, is first to give the procedure gram staining. So in gram positive bacteria, the peptidoglycan layer and it's only present, but here you can see the gram negative, the lipopolysaccharide layer, the another one more layer is present. That is a lipopolysaccharide. It's a peptidoglycan. So it's a peptidoglycan layer, and here the lipopolysaccharide is present. But here the lipopolysaccharide is absent. Okay, so it will be easily distinguish the gram positive from gram negative. Next, nutrition in bacteria. How they take the food material. So the bacteria, it is contained, the Monera kingdom, it will contain both phototroph and autotroph. Some of the photosynthetic bacteria is present. How it will be do the photosynthesis mean? They can contain the chlorophyll pigment, that is a bacteriochlorophyll and bacterioviridin. So these are the pigment is present in the bacteria, bacteriochlorophyll and bacterioviridin. It will help to trap the solar energy and it will be for the food material. And in some other cell mode of nutrition, that is a chemosynthesis. So photosynthesis means by using the solar radiation for the preparation of food material. In chemosynthesis, instead of solar radiation, this group of the organism, they can use the chemical energy. It will be getting from the oxidation of the various organic substance and inorganic substance. When it is oxidized, you get the energy. This energy, it will be used for the preparation of food. Instead of light, here using the chemical energy. Okay, that is a hemoautotroph. Photoautotroph and hemoautotroph. And heterotroph. So in the heterotroph, it will be divided into autotroph, parasite, symbiotic and saprophytic. Parasitic, symbiotic and saprophytic. So here the most of the bacteria is like the chlorophyll, not very common, and hence they are called heterotroph, that is Vibrio cholerae. So it is one of the heterotrophic bacteria. And autotrophic bacteria, they possess the bacteriochlorophyll, chromatium. It's an example for the photoautotroph. So here heterotroph, that is Vibrio cholerae. So here give the flow chart, the nutritional habitat in bacteria, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic, photoautotroph and the hemoautotroph. Alternatively, what is a photoautotroph? What is a hemoautotroph? So what are the examples for photoautotroph? Great sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria. Chemoautotroph, nitrifying bacteria, ion bacteria and methanogen bacteria. Heterotrophic, there are two types, photoheterotroph and hemoheterotroph. So what is the photoheterotroph? They get the food material from the plants. They get the food material from the plant. That is a photoheterotroph. In hemoheterotroph, it will be get the food material from the non-photosynthetic organism. That is a hemoheterotroph. Okay. Next, reproduction in general character. Reproduction in bacteria. First one, asexual. So very common asexual binary fission. During the adverse condition, it will form the endosperm formation. Okay. So here binary fission. That means the entire the bacteria unicellular. It is a unicellular. The single cell, it will be undergo the binary fission. So bi mean two, fission mean division. As a result, the two young one will be formed. Okay, so the cell wall constriction is occur. First, the nuclear material will be divided and followed by the cell wall constriction is occur. It will be extended towards the inward and finally it will be separated the two young one. That is a binary fission. Endosperm formation during the adverse condition. It will be form the cyst around them. It will form the cyst around them. When the favorable condition will be bad, the cyst will be break up or the new young one will be developed. Okay. So the detailed study of the binary fission and endosperm formation will be studying the topic separately in the reproduction bacteria. So now we are seeing the general characteristic features of the bacteria. Next, reproduction, especially for sexual reproduction. So it's not a formation of the gamete. Instead of that, the genetic recombination is occur. That's why it's considered as sexual reproduction in bacteria. So it's actually the variation in which due to the genetic recombination. So first one, conjugation, transformation, transduction. So these three are considered what? The sexual reproduction. Why? Because there is no formation of gamete, but instead of the genetic recombination is occur. So here the pili, it is a short extension, hair-like growth. It will be connected to another bacteria. So the bacteria those have the plasmid is called F plus bacteria. The bacteria those do not have the plasmid is called F minus bacteria. So here the plasmid of the one strand will be break up and reach to the F minus bacteria, those do not have the plasmid. And when the fully reached, each bacteria they form another new strand. Actually single strand is center. So each bacteria has the single strand plasmid. They will regenerate another double stranded structure of plasmid. Okay, so finally both the bacteria is contain plasmid. Beginning only one contain plasmid, another do not contain the plasmid. So here the transfer of the genetic material. So one do not naturally have the plasmid, but the genetic material of the one bacteria is enter into the another. This is one of the recombination. Okay, so next the transformation. So during the transformation, the genetic material of the one bacteria is enter into the another. Okay. Next the transduction. That is, finally it will be kill the bacteria like a lysogenic cycle. So transformation like a lytic cycle. Transformation is a lysogenic, transduction is a lytic cycle. Okay. Next, the classification of bacteria based on the shape and flagella will be given. Based on the shape and flagella. Based on the shape, it will be classified into a spherical, that is a cocci, rod-shaped bacillus, spiral-shaped, Spirochaetes and Spirilla, comma-shaped Vibrio. Okay, it's a common shape of the bacteria: spherical, rod, spiral, and the comma. If the bacteria is present in a single, that is a coccus, it present in a two, Diplococcus. It present in a two. Streptococcus, it present a chain, a number of, it's not a multicellular, but number of bacteria is adhere with one another, form a long chain, that is a streptococci. And Staphylo, it present a group, so here chain, here group. Like the bacillus, Diplobacillus, two, it present one another. Streptobacillus look like a chain, and Staphylobacillus, it present a group, and Spirilla, Spirochaetes, and Vibrio. Okay, so it's a classification of bacteria based on the shape: spherical, rod, spring shape, and comma shape. Next, the classification of bacteria based on the flagella. Flagella is a locomotory organ for the bacteria. Okay, so the based on the flagella, there are different types. That is monotrichous, lophotrichous, amphitrichous, peritrichous, and the atrichous. So atrichous means it do not have any flagella. A means absent, trichous means flagella. Okay, so atrichous without flagella. Most of the coccus form is atrichous. Okay, monotrichous, only one flagella is present any one of end of the bacterial cell. Okay, so only one flagella is present any one end of the bacteria. That is a mono. Mono means single, trichous means flagella. Only one flagella is present. Lophotrichous, a bunch of flagella is present any one of the end. That is a lophotrichous. Amphitrichous, the flagella is present both the end. That is a amphi. So in monotrichous, lophotrichous, only one end. So here amphi means the both the end. Okay. Peritrichous, it present throughout the body. Okay, throughout the cell wall. So peritrichus is present all over the bacterial cell. At the amphipertrichus. So amphitrichus means is present only one flagella on both the side. So here the amphipotrichus. So here the two side is contain a bunch of flagella. So atrichus, monotrichus, lophotrichus, amphitrichus, peritrichus. That is a very common type. It given in a textbook. Atrichus, monotrichus, lophotrichus, amphitrichus, and peritrichus. Okay. Thank you.